Hello guys, welcome back. I'm your friend Inside. So today we are going to learn how to use React with TypeScript, and I will give you an example to help you understand the TypeScript and the relationship with React. Okay, so if we wanna do this, first we need to install the React.js, or at least we need to start a project, right? That's why I'm gonna use a tool called Create React App. It's a command line tool for you to start a React application with a modern structure pre-configured for you. So let's run this command. We probably made a mistake. What we want is a TypeScript version of React application, so I'm gonna use this command to do that. After the initialization, we could start this project by running yum start. And of course, we need to first go into our project. Then we run yum start. This is what we got, a basic React application. If we go and check about the fields, it looks like this. We got the package.json file, we got the tsx field. One thing to notice that for React version of TypeScript, it has a len called .tsx. That's very important. If you set it wrong, you'll get some error. For now, if we go to the app.tsx, we could say nothing special. It's a stateless functional component. It hasn't really used TypeScript anyway. So let's go to a document or go to a bug. From this book, he introduced a way to define a class version of React components and how it should be combined with TypeScript definition, for example, the interface. And for this case, we could define the props or the properties or the states in a TypeScript way. Let's just do a copy for that. So here we go. We got a component called counter, and it extends from React.components. And for this component, it receives two kind of things. The first is the type of counter props, which is this one. And another one is a counter state. So here comes the problem. How can we actually put this counter into our homepage? Well, we could just say counter with something like this, but it causes an error. Why? Because this is TypeScript. If you miss some property for a component, it will comply. The editor will comply. So you would see the error in an advanced way. So let me do this. But now I could change this height to anything, literally anything. Let me explain the logic for you. And for this counter, the father of this component gave this counter a message variable called insideSo, and this component, this class component, receives that kind of property, and it can access that property by doing this, by using this props.message. And also for this counter itself, it got a state called count, and for this count, the initial value is 0. But I guess I could change it by using this set state with the count equal to this state count plus 1. This may seem a little bit complex or not. It's just a function for the unclacked event. So in this way, if we click this button, the number should go up. Oh, one thing that I haven't displayed for you is, since we are using the TypeScript, so the counter props or the counter properties is a type definition for the properties. For example, for now, it only has one property called message. We could also define another one. For example, we could say type equal to, let's say, should be a string. And for now, if we go to the counter again, you will say it's start to complain again. It says that we need to give it a type property. In this way, we give it a type. And then we could use that kind of property here with the auto completion. When we go back to our home page again, we could say it immediately. And also, for some of you, if you want to let that kind of property or definition optional, you could just add a mark symbol here, pressing symbol here, pressing mark here, to indicate that this property or variable is an optional one. So in that case, even if you didn't actually specify the type for that component, for example, here I delete it, we will still be able to let it running without any problem. Okay, that's the counter properties. And for the counter state, which is right in here, counter state is another definition for TypeScript. It specifies what kind of data we want to save into the state variable. And for now, it only got the count, but we could have more. Then let's go down for a little bit and see if we can find something else. Okay, for now, here's another definition for functional React components. And for this kind of thing, the type is different. You know, for the class version of TypeScript, you would use React.components, but for functional component, you will use React.fc. FC is a shorthand for functional component, I guess. For example, for now, as you can see, here's the application, the biggest one. He used the traditional way to specify a function, but we could make it more modern or fashion. For example, how can we do that? We could say const app equal to an anonymous function. And for that kind of function, it will return you some components. But now you say we have no errors. And the good thing about it is that we could also define a type for this component. And for example, it should be react.fc. And you say with no errors. That's awesome. From this document or from this book, we can also know that we could also specify the type for functional components by doing something like this. So for example, for now, I just create another component and I'm going to call it a functional component. And for this component, first, it has a type of react.fc. You'll see an error because we haven't returned anything yet. So I'm going to return at least a div component. So for now, no compilation, no errors, no warnings. Cool. And then for this kind of components, I want it to have some properties. So for now, we say interface a functional component props. Maybe that's not so intuitive. I would like to say type of. Okay. For now, we could say for this kind of type, I just want to have one property, which is a text, and it's a string type. And for this kind of thing, I could say props with a type of functional components. For now, you could say an error because we should have a children with a React node. Why? Because normally, sorry guys, this is kind of mistaken. So for this props, the definition properties, it can have a lot of things more than the things that we have defined here. So to be more specific, what we can do is instead of just say the properties, we just want to say text from that kind of thing. Then we can properly specify the text here. To be honest, this error is kind of weird. How can I fix that? Here's an automatic way of remove this error. It says remove unused declaration for that component. If we collect this, we would say it's just gone. That's definitely not something that we want. How about we just declare it in here? Okay, nothing magic happened. It says this kind of type is not assignable to type FC whatever. I'm going to do assert. Here's a guy uses just the same thing as I did here. Here's a solution for it. So inside of the FC kind of thing, we should pass that properties to it. So let's do it. So here inside of the functional component type, we should put our props or put our type definition for that kind of thing into it. And for now, without any completions. That's weird. And for now, it will complain that we haven't given it a text. So I'm going to give it a tag. And for this kind of task, I'll just set it to hi. Now if we go back to our homepage, we could say the text of hi. We can do more here. For example, instead of using this kind of declaration, I'd like just to say props with type specification. So for now, we could probably use something like, props.text. Okay, so this is more understandable for me. And even we could make this props a concrete length, for example, properties. I guess this is more intuitive for you guys. And so basically, this is how we know things. We do not know those complex things. We know the simplest thing first, and we go on with it little by little, one by one, and only in this way we could understand or handle or master those very, very difficult things. And I guess this is almost covered every aspect of TypeScript working with React kind of stupid questions. And if you want to know more, I guess, for example, here for the string, it could be also undefined. So it can have two kind of types. You could specify it to undefined or none, I guess. So for this case, if you pass it a variable of none, or on the most cases it will be undefined, it's also working. But if you didn't specify the undefined kind of thing, and you go to the server, you got a value, and that kind of value is undefined, you get an error. That's not a good thing. So I guess I almost covered every aspect of TypeScript working with the React framework. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I guess this kind of topic is something that I could answer to you guys. Okay, that's today's tutorial. I will see you in the next one. Bye.